My name is Sarah Wozniak, and I am going to be discussing the flow of lymph. This is my assistant, my daughter, Emily. First off, we're going to discuss a little bit about the flow of the lymph. Basically, lymph is a little bit different than other systems. It flows in one direction towards the neck. It transports in the lymphatic pathway. It goes then to the capillaries and down to the collecting ducts. At the end, it's actually disposed into the blood. Because of the lack of the pumping organ, a lot of the lymph is solely dependent on muscular tissue for it to be movable, for it to flow. Lymph flow is maintained by a difference in the pressure, and it ends up changing pressure at the two ends of the system. So on Emily, we're going to be describing a few of the parts of the lymphatic system. The first is the thymus, which we would find located at the sternum. It's actually right behind the sternum, and it has T cells that develop after puberty. The next organ is the spleen. It's found on the left side, and that would be attached to the stomach, and that helps to balance fluids. Her tonsils, open, stick your tongue out, will be found one on each side, left and right of the throat, and those help to protect against respiratory and gastrointestinal infections. Next will be the appendix. It sits just adjacent of the small and large intestines. The indication or function of the appendix is unknown. That's why a lot of people end up with appendectomies, where they have their appendix removed. If the appendix becomes inflamed and bursts, that can be toxic and actually can kill a person. The next thing is the cervical lymph node. We know everything cervical pertains to the neck and the cervical spine. So a lot of times, especially in children or adolescents, you'll find cervical lymph nodes here. Sometimes they will become inflamed and you'll be able to feel them. If it's prepubescent, you can feel them. Those help prevent infection or fight against infection. Axillary lymph nodes are actually found in the armpits, and they are to filter lymph through the upper arms, through the pecs, and through the back. A lot of times when women have forms of breast cancer, they'll have the lymph nodes removed from this area to prevent it from spreading to breast cancer. Another thing that I wanted to mention is in the tonsils, that it helps protect against respiratory and gastrointestinal infections, but they also can become inflamed and need a tonsillectomy to be removed, at which point typically we'll be better off to have it done in younger children, teenagers, adolescents. The older the patient becomes is when they can start to develop more problems, and it can become life-threatening once the tonsils are inflamed. So hopefully I explained the flow of lymph pretty thoroughly, and you were able to see on my model here where some of the organs are and what some of their functions are. Again, my name is Sarah, and this was the flow of the lymphatic system.